Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there and welcome to New Life Live. Joining me today, well, you could join 1-800-229-3000, but joining me today because they did such a great job yesterday in tolerating me and trying to help folks, we have J.J. West and Laura Mangan McDonald. You know, it's hard for me to do three names in a row, because of the ADHD that I have. But I'm really glad you guys are here. And thank you for coming back and doing show of the Thursday show as well as Wednesday. And these two are changing people's lives by leading Restore for Laura, and then JJ is doing the Every Man's Battle intensive. And then they join up and do intimacy and marriage together. And they're a great, great team, and we're fortunate to have them. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing great being here on with y'all.
Well, that's nice. And as my headphones just fell right off there. Anyway, JJ, how are you doing today? I guess we lost JJ for a while. Anyway, Laura, it's you and me till JJ surfaces.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's just go right to the phones. But first, I just want you to make a comment about intimacy in marriage. Laura, you do Restore while JJ is doing Every Man's Battle. But intimacy in marriage, what do you like about doing that the most?
Oh gosh, Steve, it's for everyone. It's for every marriage. A marriage that's in trouble, a marriage that wants to be enhanced. It's a game changer. I've sent many of my couples that I see in my practice there, and it has literally changed their lives. They understand their attachment styles, how old wounds continue to play out in the marriage, how to practical application of how to respond to these where they go down the pain drain over and over. Right. It's amazing.
Well, the thing I love hearing are these stories of when a guy says, we were done. Yeah, they were done. And then they came and they weren't done anymore. If you want information about it, go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Please do it. Please call us. Get the help that you need. How about we go to Tom, Walla Walla, Washington. I went to Tom because I love saying Walla Walla, Washington, as well as Santa Cucamonga. Anyway, KLRF is the station. Hey, Tom, how are you doing?
Yeah, good day. Are you hearing me okay?
We are, yes. Yes, we are.
Okay. This will be simple. I am a normal person. I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. I don't have any problems, but I want to hear your take because it's preached on and off about the difference, about the sinful lust in the heart, and knowing that the male of all species checks out the female.
Right.
I would like to hear where the difference is, where the line is, what's normal in the way God created us. And
yeah, we can do that. We can do that. And okay. Are you married or are you single?
I'm single.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll give you some help here, and I'm really glad that you called all the way from Walla Walla, Washington. Our number here is 1-800-229-3000. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. In the meantime, we'll take a break and we'll come right back and talk with Tom. Difference between lust and just normal male desire.
it had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, he just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop is being held online as a one-day event Saturday, July 8th. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here with J.J. West. I think, J.J., are you there?
I sure hope so. Can you hear me?
Oh, good. Yes. And Laura Mangan McDonald is here. And Tom has asked this question about the difference between lust in the heart for a single guy like him and a normal sex drive that we were created with. And which one of you wants to start in on talking about the difference between what really draws us together often is that sexual attraction or a physical kind of attraction. For my wife and me, I heard her laugh, and I had to go find out who's laughing. And then I saw how beautiful she was, then discovered how smart she was. And I think it was kind of a normal thing, but certainly there was an attraction there. What do you guys think? Who wants to go first? You want JJ, you or
Sure, I'd be happy to. I love that story, Steve, because it illustrates one of the main points, which is that attraction is multifaceted. It's multi-layered. It's not just physical attraction. It's not just, ooh, I like what you look like, and that's why I'm attracted to you. There's attraction of the heart, right? An emotional connection. There's a mental connection. There's all these different things that I find attractive about you, that I'm drawn to you. That's really important, that when we're talking about desire, that our desire is not narrowed into one little category. But the bigger picture of the question that Tom's asking, I think, how do I tell the difference between when I'm falling into the sin of lust versus just my normal sexual desire that I have as a male designed by God? How do I tell the difference? So a couple of things that I think are good to keep in mind. One is that lust is all about wanting to possess the beauty, as opposed to attraction. Sexual attraction is about appreciating the beauty. When I appreciate beauty, I'm drawn to it in a way that says it is free to be itself. I don't need to own it, possess it, control it in some way. Whereas lust is all about how I manipulate or control this thing, how I exert some sort of dominance over this thing. I take it for my own. And it really comes down to a difference between, am I objectifying her or am I personifying her? In other words, do I see her as a person with all these different ways that I might be attracted to her, all these different categories, or do I just simply view her as an object for me to use in some way? And so that would be a critical question that I would want, Tom, you to ask yourself. Whenever you notice yourself attracted to someone, am I viewing them as a person, or am I just viewing them as an object for me to use for my own purposes, my own pleasure?
And JJ, what I love about this is it's something I think, because of who we are as men, everybody needs to do a stop, look, evaluate. What am I in this relationship for? What is it here? Because other than I'm really attracted to her, maybe we have nothing in common. Maybe it's just the opposite of everything I ever dreamed of, but I'm so lonely and attracted. if I could see that, then maybe I wouldn't do something desperate and marry somebody that it's not going to be a good relationship. Laura, what are you thinking here?
Well, I think JJ explained that perfectly. My question, Tom, is there something that some reason why you questioned this? Is there something that came up in a conversation with someone, something that makes you uncomfortable that happens inside of yourself? Where did this question come from?
Okay, yes, I'm still here listening. You've all done fantastic way of answering it and deciphering the question. The question just comes from what's normal and what's abnormal. That's all it is. There's no personal problems here, anything on that order. So I wanted to hear your take on what's normal.
Yeah. Have you ever been married, Tom, or is that just something that?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I have been married, and I'm, for what it's worth, 75 years old, and I wouldn't waste any time trying to find any problems with me. Just you've done what a good answering the question, and boy, I think you've answered it for a lot more people than myself. But go ahead.
No, we're not going to try to find any problem with you. I'm going to send you. It's going to seem strange maybe, but I want to send you the marriage book that Fred and I did. It's called Every Man's Marriage, and it's based on mutual submission. It'll give you a different, I think, a different look at how men need to treat women. And Every Man's Battle. It's a book to help men stop using women, using pornography and all. It's not a marriage book. And a lot of people that they don't like Every Man's Battle, they've never read the marriage book we did next, which says pretty much everything I think a woman would want in a marriage, because it's asking a man to die to himself. Some people just speak about submission, but we've written about mutual submission. And it's not very fun for a lot of guys to think, wait a minute, I need to look at submission. Yeah, go ahead.
Steve, would it be out of line for me to ask Laura a question here?
Not out of line at all, unless Laura is out of line.
No,
then it'd be just...
I'm open to it.
So I would love, Laura, for you to speak to, as a woman, the difference you feel when a man is looking at you lustfully versus when a man is looking at you with attraction.
Gosh, that's a great question. First of all, there's an internal creep alert that goes off. That is just it's an intuitive feeling that the Lord gives us that someone has crossed the boundary, and you explained that, the difference between possession versus just God made us to look at things that are enjoyable, right? And so I personally, it's a violation. It's an uninvited crossover, and it's very objectifying, and that's it's kind of a form of betrayal.
Yeah,
that this is not okay. Did that answer your question?
Well,
yeah, I just think. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
No, you finish up there.
I just thought it would be really helpful for men to hear, because we get so focused on what's going on in me and whether I've crossed a line, I've switched from attraction to lust, but I think we fail to think about how is this impacting her, the way that I'm approaching her.
And one of the great points of character is when we stop long enough to ask, how is my behavior? How are the things I'm saying? How does that impact other people? Now, I want to give one caution, and that is that sometimes, you mentioned the word creep. There's been a creepy situation that occurred younger, and it's never been resolved. And so a man might be viewed as inappropriate, but really it could be because there's some unfinished business on her part. not.
That's
it's
true,
not.
Steve.
Well, it's not common, but it's a possibility. It does happen, and especially in our world where so many people are inappropriate. But
Right.
the main thing is whether you're the female or the male, you need to be sure that you got people around you that are helping you grow and be people of great character. Now, I'm going to send Tom Every Believer's Thought Life because that's what this is all about. Every Believer's Thought Life, and that's coming to you. Anybody else can get it at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Really glad Tom asked that very personal question. Well, let's move on here to, let's go to Michael from Rochester, Minnesota, I think, and that he listens on Sirius XM. Michael, welcome to New Life. How you doing?
I'm great. How are y'all today?
Doing okay. How could we help you?
Good, good. So I am a pastor of 15 years. My wife and I do ministry together, and we're really fortunate that we have a really great church that's really growing. Got lots of kids there and young families and older families, and we're actually in a rural area. Our challenge is, as a couple, we get frustrated and get down often because our church doesn't seem to want to put the two pieces together and go, the younger need to support the older and the older need to support the younger. And then that causes some differences of opinion between me and my wife on how we handle it going forward. And it's just, we're in a season of lack right now. There's a lot of people in the church that are like, oh, we don't want to work with this group because it's not for our family, and we don't want to work with this group because it's not for our family. So it's creating a little bit of downness with my wife and I, and some frustration with us. And we were just wondering, do you have any counselors or people in our area that might be able to walk us through this? I'm already taking a bold risk by coming on the show, but I've been listening to you and Mylan and Dr. Townsend and Dr. Cloud and Jill Hubbard for years, and I love your program. But I thought God wants us to be bold when we're pastors, call in and ask for some help to see how we can help our church.
Well, I'm glad you did, because I've been part of quite a few churches over the years, and I can tell you this, that if young families aren't the priority of a church, then 5, 10, 15 years from now, there may not be a church. And so really everybody has to work together so that young families come to church and feel comfortable about it. There's an organization called Mary, M-A-R-Y, and it is all about using secular research to support biblical principles. And one of the things that they talk about is that the best thing that anybody could do for the United States of America is marry young, have children, go to church. I mean, educate them, certainly. But church is part of this equation of success for anybody wanting America to be great. So I really believe in a church organizing around these young families, and where it happens, it really can be a blessing. And it sounds like it's happening there with you, but not everybody is working together to make that an easy focus. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's correct. That's exactly right.
Well, tell them, don't make me come out there and talk to them. But it really can be a great experience if everybody gets on board. Laura, JJ, what are you thinking?
I'm right off the top of my head, Steve. I'm thinking self-awareness. If you can have something centered on some type of self-awareness inventories, that's for everybody, right? Who can't be more self-aware and more, and that self-awareness then would help them gain some insight of what's helping me go forward or what's holding me back. And that's something that can be shared across all ages.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One of the great quotes by Mark Twain was, there are two things for certain, the universe and stupid people. And then he said, and he says, and sometimes I wonder about the universe. Well, I love Mark Twain. The point of it is that we can really think we're doing what's right, think we're headed the right way, and we're really not. And we need to take a second look. And I hope that you can, that we can find that counselor for you. We should be able to where you are. But I love helping churches become the church God wants them to be. And, Jesus focused on young children. He loved young children when they were really kind of worthless at that time under the Roman Empire. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And so that needs to be our model also here. I'm really glad you called. I'm going to send you Every Man's Bible. It's a best-selling men's study Bible. And how about I send you a copy of More Jesus, Less Religion? It's the follow-up to Toxic Faith, and I think it'll be a blessing to you and that church. Really glad you've got your head screwed on right, and hope you don't get in trouble for calling a radio program you've listened to for many, many years. We'll be back.
We went to the Intimacy and Marriage in 2019. We were both done.
This is Steve Arterburn. Do you feel like your marriage is done? New Life can help. We believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life. Our Intimacy and Marriage Workshop examines the various types of intimacy, spiritual, emotional, and physical, as well as the challenges of experiencing true intimacy.
The next Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is July 28th to the 30th in Washington, D.C. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more or go to newlife.com. 1-800-639-5433.
Don't settle for a miserable marriage or even one that's just okay. It's possible to experience a new level of intimacy and have a great marriage.
The transformation, phenomenal. It has transformed our lives so much.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and if you heard that little break there on coaching, I got to tell you, as a master coach, I get to mentor many of these coaches as part of finishing up their study. And they are so wonderful and creative and motivated to help you. You really should look into it. I think I used a should, and a lot of people would coach me not to use that word. All right, so Dave Stoop wrote this book before he died. Miss him like crazy, living strong, finishing well. He did that, and you would love this book. And any gift of any amount, I will send it to you. It's a great one. Also want to mention that in Washington, D.C., October 27, 28, the Lumina Experience is taking place there at Museum of the Bible. It's an intimate, when we had Women of Faith, we'd fill arenas with, 18,000 women. Here, 450 women. A whole experience designed for 450 women at a time. That's what we'd love you to experience. You can find out about it at luminawomen.org, or you could even go to newlife.com and find out, or just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. It's worth getting some women together and coming to Museum of the Bible, October 27 and 28. I think you're going to like it if you'll be there. All right, let's go back to, I think, JJ, you have a comment here before we move on.
Yeah, I wanted to just respond to Michael's call, and I feel silly telling a pastor this, but it might be helpful to walk the church through. Jesus commanded, look, the world will tell the authenticity of your faith by how you love each other. And our love for each other is demonstrated by our willingness to serve, to care for the needs of others, not just what's in it for me. Right. And so the older generation to be willing to come in and serve the younger generation is an evidence of their faith, that their relationship with God is authentic, it's real. And the younger generation being willing to serve and learn from the older generation, again, evidence of their relationship with God. It authenticates your faith to the community. So I would just encourage, maybe spending a little bit of time as a church looking at the disciples, right? I mean, how different could you possibly be? And Jesus said, look, the way you guys love each other is going to be the evidence of whether or not your relationship with me is authentic.
And if I was going to talk with them, I would be saying things like, okay, I know what you want, or what it appears that you want. You want to do things your way. You want to do things the way they've always been done. That seems to be what you want. That's what you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. But I think what you really want is, in 15 years, you want this church to be a buzzing, full of life, mm-hmm. and people coming in droves here. Mm. So I can give you what you really want, but I can't give you what you want. We've got to work together. And so often people are so short-sighted. This isn't, it's not about you doing the work of the Lord at your comfort level only. Mm-hmm. If you don't do it my way, I'm just going to go to another church and do it there. Right. Come on. It's very selfish.
Not the kingdom.
No, mm-hmm. that is right. All right. Let me send you find a copy around here of More Jesus, Less Religion. It's all in there. It's right there. Okay, let's go to Addie from Washington, D.C. Addie is listening on WAVA, the great station there in D.C. Hi, Addie. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for taking my call. Calling about my grandchildren, twin grandchildren. They just graduated from high school. One is a boy, one is a boy, one a girl. Their parents divorced when they were 3 years old, and joint custody, 1 week with the dad, 1 week with the mom. And the dad is very controlling, perhaps a narcissist. And so he's favored the girl, just like his dad would favor the other children above him. And so this is continued with him. And he favors the girl over the boy. And the boy, it's like he opposes everything the boy wants to do all along. He's been wanting music. Well, the dad was opposed to that. And on and on. It's like he had to do what the dad wanted to do. My question, and right now I see him, he goes from one part-time job to the other. He can't decide which school to attend next year, that kind of thing. So my question is, would it be helpful if I sat with him and explained to him what's been going on all these years with his dad? They've had some counseling, both of them, the grandchildren, but not enough, I don't think. Uh-huh. Does it help for me to say, this is what's been going on with your dad and how he's affected your decisions and so forth?
Okay, well, I think it's a really great question. Laura, I'm interested what you think about this. Are there some dangers here? Well, there's the music. We'll hear from you when we get back from the break here. So often it's easy for us to see things in other people that they don't see, because we see them in other people, but we don't see the things in ourselves that we need to see. Mm-hmm. Everybody needs a truth teller. And if you don't have a truth teller, if you're always upset when somebody starts to challenge the truth you're living under, man, I just hope and pray that you'll pray, God, help me be less defensive so I can grow closer to you in your truth. But we'll hear from Laura on this situation as soon as we come back from this break. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if we can help you. Call us.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
I have given to New Life regularly because I have so many people that I am referring to New Life who so benefit from the ministry. I just can't imagine what would happen in my area if New Life wasn't available to us.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Prayer, 100 Days of Freedom from Depression, and 100 Days of Peace. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and I just want to clarify, if you join Club New Life, you're not forced to meet with me monthly, but you can if you want to. So here we are talking with Addie, and I asked Laura to tell us what she thinks about her going to the grandson and telling him what's been going on, that he might understand a little bit more about what's going on and why he's being treated the way he is. Laura, what do you think?
Well, first of all, Addie, I just want to, your heart is precious, and you clearly are having a positive influence on your grandchildren. I want to ask one more question. Do you all have sit-down conversations where he can talk about his feelings with you? Is that something that's common?
I don't bring it up. I kind of let his mom talk about things because he does share more with her. And so she knows what goes on most of the time.
So here's what I would do. The thing about a person who's indecisive is they're indecisive because, well, they don't know how to look in their heart and know what's going on. So they're always kind of, going back and forth. So for you to come in, I believe it's important for you to validate how he's feeling, but I believe it's going to be with you asking him some questions, something that we do in intimacy and marriage and restore and EMB is to be able to look in your heart and give 3 words that you're feeling, right? And we have this word list that we can get to you. And to ask him, what are 3 words that you're feeling today? I noticed that you applied for that job and, and it didn't work out, or I noticed you're seeming down today. Can you give me 3 words for how you're feeling? So that is going to begin the validation that he needs that will directly impact his indecisiveness. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I just wonder if he could use more clarity in what's been going on with his dad in order for him to understand how he's, not making decisions or making decisions.
Right.
Yeah, in other words, you're asking...
Have a starting place.
Yeah. So at some point after asking these questions, is she looking for an opening there where she could perhaps present what she believes
to come in
has
and validate.
Yeah,
to come in and validate. I think to tell him what you're noticing, again, is kind of making his, taking away his voice. We want to begin to empower him in having a voice. And then from there, then you're going to be able to validate his feelings.
Okay.
And can I ask, Addie?
Go ahead.
Is the dad your son, or is the mom your daughter?
My daughter.
Okay. All right. And so why is your daughter not wanting to be the one to communicate to her son the impact of this man on his life?
I think she has to a certain extent, but she doesn't want to put him in a bad light. They teach people not to talk about the other parent when they've been divorced. So she tries not to do that.
Right.
But
yeah.
Anyway,
so you could actually. Go ahead.
She tries to be careful because he's not an easy person to deal with, and if we don't want him to take anything out on the children, if you understand what I mean.
I do. Yeah. So I think
like, tiptoeing through the roses or tulips.
Yeah. So it may be, kind of going along with what Laura was saying, it might be really helpful to start with those questions, to just draw your grandson out. What do you see? Are the things that have impacted you and why it seems uncomfortable for you to make decisions? And he may name, well, it always seems like Dad takes up for my sister and supports her and not me. He might name that, and then it's very easy to come alongside and say, yeah, I can see why that would really make a huge impact on your life, as opposed to you or your daughter calling him out and making the dad the bad guy and the target. I think it would be really helpful to sit down and ask him, what is he seeing? And he may say, I don't know why it's so hard. And then then you can offer, yeah, sometimes when other people are always offering a negative evaluation of me, it can cut me off at the knees, makes me feel like I'm not good at making decisions or good at anything, right? You can offer that, but as opposed to starting off with, well, here, I need to tell you about your dad and all the terrible things he's done to you, and this is why it's, your life is hard.
Yeah.
So here's a tough thing. A young person doesn't have our insight, and they may not know questions to ask. They may just feel uneasy. And it's really tough to withhold truth and then delivering truth, to know that balance. And sometimes that's why it's good to say, I see that there's some uncertainty here. I think there's some answers available to you. I want you to get in with a counselor that can really help you with this. Because sometimes these kinds of conversations are just too difficult, especially if all of a sudden the dad hears that you did make him out to be the bad guy, and then now you're no longer allowed to be around the grandson or the granddaughter, whatever. It's just horrible, the reaction that some of these young people have. So I would really be careful. I mean, older people like Dad, not wanting to be the bad guy.
They're almost 18, and all these years I've been waiting to, explain certain things so that they would understand.
Yeah.
But, when they're old enough.
Yeah. Well,
him knowing his feelings. I'm sorry, Steve, for interrupting.
No, go ahead.
Him knowing
No,
his
please.
Feelings. Yeah, him knowing his feelings is going to be a game changer, because the indecisiveness is going to appear to be the overarching problem, but underneath that is his inability to identify feelings. And so to teach him the difference between saying, this is how you feel, which I can validate that, is not gossiping, it's not talking about someone, it's simply how you feel, which is neither right nor wrong.
Yeah.
But that opens the gate for him to have insight moving forward.
Yep. And I'll tell you, there is nothing more powerful than someone revealing to you, yeah, there is something. that's different. And no wonder you feel this way. You're not strange,
Right.
you're weird.
You're not
But
crazy.
I really believe in getting people help, because you can mess up a lot of relationships that way.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to talk about this. I think it impacts a lot of different folks. And Addie, thank you for calling about this. High school graduate. I mean, it's really tough to reach down and be fair, open, and honest. We're doing some great work in our parenting webinars that we do and the workshops that we do for parents, and you can find out all about that at newlife.com. Larry Sonnenberg is now in the studio, and I'd love to talk with Larry. Larry, how you doing?
Hey, Steve, doing really good, thank you.
Great.
Couple of things. Last time I was on, and JJ and Laura were on, I promoted Every Man's Battle. And I don't want Laura to feel slighted here, so we're going to talk about Restore. This is a testimony.
I would never feel slighted.
Testimony from a recent Restore. And you know what? This could have been from a guy had the gender been different in the comments. So it says, I was scared to come to Restore. I was afraid to face my own struggles and vulnerabilities. I felt that it would be impossible to open my heart to women I do not know ever, much less in the time span of a weekend. But God knew better. These women are my sisters. They're from all walks of life, all ages, all circumstances. We're all so different, yet through the tears, heartache, and lots of laughter, they've become my family, my safe place to land. They held me accountable to who I am, and they did so with grace, love, and understanding. I came here believing I would never have female friends who get my heart, but I'm leaving with 6 sisters who love me in spite of my mess. You know, that's
Wow.
I love that, because it's a universal comment for women or men alone. And this is what you can do when you come to these workshops, folks. Ladies, it's a few months away, but sign up for that workshop now. You'll get an early bird and discount, and you'll be so glad you did. And
You know, it points to the value of doing something afraid versus
Yes.
not doing something that you're afraid of. You really get to experience life in a different way. Larry, hold on. We got the music going. I want to hear more from you.
Okay.
You're listening to New Life Live, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We're here for you to help transform your life and those that care about you even. And we only can do that with your support. Please help us calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or going to newlife.com. We'll be back right after this for our final segment of New Life Live.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step towards genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and when you hear somebody say after a workshop, this is different. Well, it is different at that moment, but if they don't have the support that we can provide, it may not be different very long. And that's what I love about what we do. There's always follow-up, support, groups, counseling, other things that make sure that it stays different. Larry, you've been a part of these for so very long. You go to so many of these things. It's unbelievable. But you had something else you wanted to share with us before we went to our final caller.
Well, part of it is what you were just saying. It's the follow-up support, and part of that is we do scholarships, and people use scholarships for follow-up support as well.
Yeah.
So we just love for you to continue your giving, and we've had this matching fund challenge. This is a recorded program, so all I could say is a couple days ago we still had $42,000 to go, and I hope it's down to $32,222 or even $2 or less.
Yeah.
But don't know that right now. But the thing I do know is we need your support. And in the process of seeking support for the matching challenge, we've neglected somewhat from time to time to talk about our Club New Life. Monthly giving, sustaining this ministry is huge. And we don't share enough our gratitude nor the necessity of this. So if you're in Club New Life, thank you. And thank you if you can up your support $5 or $10 or $20 a month. And if you're not in Club New Life, I hope you'll call us at 800-NEW-LIFE and learn about all the details, what you give as a thank you gift, the ongoing benefits. It's really important to New Life, so consider
Amen.
that, please.
Yep, 1-800-NEW-LIFE to give, or newlife.com, and we'll send you this Living Well, Finishing Strong book by Dr. Dave Stoop, and he was one that he certainly lived that title. Larry, anything else you want to share with us?
No, just continued thanks. We are very, very appreciative for what you do.
We are that. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate that. Okay, let's go to David, Newark, New Jersey, Sirius XM. I wish we could get to every call, but David, you're going to be the final caller. How can we help you today?
Thank you very much, sir. I have an issue with my daughters. They deal with same-sex. My youngest daughter had scholarships, and we got into an argument, and her phone was hooked up to my TV, and I discovered she was having same-sex relations, and I put her out. She went to live with her sister, and cause her sister's married to the same to her wife, and she's my youngest daughter. She's back home now. She was gone for like 2 years, and my wife, the daughter. That's my stepdaughter, her daughter. My wife's like hanging out with them, going out and doing dinner and stuff like that, and beginning to disrupt our marriage. And I tried to explain to her that, hey, it's not biblical. We all are saved. You couldn't tell it by the way some of us live, but anyway. And she's telling me that, basically that she's going to, she's letting her daughter know that, that she does not like what she's doing, but yet she is still hanging out with them and going out to eating dinner and stuff like that.
Okay, so why don't you? We don't have a lot of time. Why don't you just ask us a question? Okay.
the question is, how do I deal with my wife, with her daughter? As far as am I being controlling? Is letting her know that he should not be hanging out with her daughter in that situation.
Okay. All right, Laura, with your eye on the clock there, what help as much as you possibly can, and leave a little time for JJ.
Well, I'm just going to come out of the gate saying that there's power in loving someone where they are, and I really feel your wife's heart in not wanting to cut off her daughter. We love the person and hate the sin. So I think that her daughter needs her. And I think the mother needs to be there. And for you to be able to find someone to talk to be able to love your wife where she is so that she can support her daughter. It just would be a horrible thing to disconnect from her child.
Yeah, it seems like that'd be the thing you'd do. It just seems like, well, that's what you do. You just don't have anything to do with it. But that really
Jesus doesn't
is damaging.
That. Yeah. I am so grateful that Jesus didn't turn his back on me. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
When I wasn't doing what I should be doing. So I hear your pain, but it's a hard place to be.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, JJ, what are you thinking here?
Well, so David, here I appreciate your humility in calling and asking the question, am I being controlling by, forbidding my wife from interacting with her daughter, going to dinner with her? And so I'm going to honor that humility by saying, yes, you are. Okay. And I want you to hear that in love. I don't want you to hear that as me being cruel or harsh to you. It's controlling to forbid your wife from having a relationship with her daughter. It's not, if she's going out to dinner with her, unless they're doing dinner at like a strip club, she's not doing something unholy or unloving or ungodly or unbiblical by eating with her daughter and maintaining that relationship. So I think you are, but maybe examine, why do you feel like her having a relationship with her daughter is a threat to your marriage? And it may be that I'm not fully understanding the story, but that might be something for you to evaluate. Why does this feel threatening to me?
Can I ask, okay, even including her wife, as far as her wife and her daughter, is that still saying this? Are you still saying the same thing? I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with.
Let me jump in.
Saying.
Let me jump in.
Yeah.
Both of my brothers were gay, and my mother and father and all of us, we believed we were conservative and still are. Hadn't changed any of that. But one Thanksgiving, I remember when my mother finally invited this guy that my brother was living with, invited him to come to Thanksgiving dinner. That was such a tough thing for my mother, but such an act of love. I mean, they had been together quite some time. There wasn't going to be, outside of a miracle from God, there wasn't going to be a change there. But my mom answered a question early on in all of this: am I going to have a relationship with my son or not? And her answer was, yes, I am. And my brother never thought for 1 second that my mother condoned anything that he was doing about the way he was living. But she showed her love in the toughest of circumstances. I think that's what you have to do. And I think it's one of the toughest things for some of us to do, but I think that's the real challenge. If you need some help, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Call us. We'd love to help you however that we can. Thanks for joining me today. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.